Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we are going to see how to use Clay for GTM analytics. Now, the idea here is that we have always seen Clay as a tool that helps with data enrichment or getting buying signals. But what we haven't really explored yet is how Clay can be used beyond that. Specifically, how can it be leveraged for GTM analytics? Now, in our previous videos, we have already covered the starting cycles of prospecting, that is, say, from connecting different data sources to enriching that data inside Clay. And we have even seen how to run email campaigns once that data set is cleared. But now comes the part that is post outreach. That is where most GTM teams actually struggle. Now, once, say, the emails are sent, the meetings are booked, and the conversations happen. The question is, how do you analyze what's working and what's not? So, today we are going to focus on analyzing the output of a GTM motion. So for this video, we'll be analyzing a meeting log, which has all the details that are mapped according to an account level, to a prospect level, to the meeting outcome level as well. So quickly, what we'll do is we have imported that data onto Clay, and this is how it looks, wherein we have the company name, company size, location, and other company level details. We have the meeting details, that is whether the meeting was in virtual meeting or an in-person meeting, when did the meeting happen, through what mode of communication did we get that meeting, and who from the team actually took that meeting up. Post that, we even have the prospect data in place. That includes the designation and their LinkedIn profile. Now, whenever we start with any analysis, the most important thing over here is to define the objective of the analysis. For today, we are going to take a very simple objective, that how do we refine our approach to get better conversion for our GTM efforts? Or do we actually need to refine our approach, or is everything as per the current approach working? So this is what we are going to look at today. Now, while we already have these data points in place, the most important thing for us to understand over here is, will we need any additional data points to do or conduct our analysis? Now, majority of the time what happens is, when we talk about adding more data fields, people think that let's add as many data points that we want to. But when we talk from a GTM analytics standpoint, it doesn't mean that we keep populating with random data points. We need to ensure that we are very selective of which data points are relevant to us to draw those inferences. Now, in this case, we are taking an example of a company that is into facility management services, and the meeting logs that are there are with large enterprises who have been looking for these services. So, to define the data points, what we're going to do is we're going to first start with company level data points that we might require. Now, we already have the headcount, we have the location and the industry. What more would we want? So over here, while we are selling facility management services, it always depends on the number of employees that company has in a particular location and how many more people are they hiring, because this is directly related to the amount of business that we can get in. So in this case, what I've done is I've added the exact employee count and the percentage employee growth over the past 6 months as a data point. How can you do that? Is you can simply go onto the actions and search for employee headcount growth as one of that particular enrichment option, and you can get that. So we took that and we added certain parameters to it, wherein we mapped it with the company's website. And we saw that, okay, there are 2-3 things that we can take. We can take the employee count and the percentage of that employee growth over the last 6 months. So this gives me an understanding as to what is the hiring velocity. But there is one more thing that we can take a look at is, if this is the employee growth rate over the past 6 months, if I want to see the current growth that they see in the next upcoming 1 month, 2 months or 3 months, to analyze how much revenue can I get out of that, I can get a complete data point that is of job count. So what I've done over here is I've added one more enrichment option to give me the exact number of job postings that that particular company has done on multiple platforms. So I have my job count mentioned over here. Finally, what I've done is I've used a formula to calculate the hiring velocity. That is by taking the job count divided by the employee count to give me that exact output. Now I'll show you one interesting thing over here is, when we want to analyze or when we want to understand the data flow, what Clay offers is a graphical view, wherein it tells us that these are the input parameters and what we have done with that. So we say, for example, found the headcount growth, we found the active job openings, and use that as input parameters for calculating the hiring velocity. So this is how we can visualize if we are adding any particular formula or adding a derived field onto our table, and we want to see how and where is it connected. we can do that using the graph view. Coming back to our table view, so we had these data points created. We have the hiring velocity as a score. Next comes is the locations. So as I mentioned, if that particular company has multiple locations, then it opens doors for us to do a pilot in 1, 2 locations and then expand to the other locations as well. So again, I use an AI agent over here to get the exact location count. One thing I want to share over here is that many times AI might not be able to give you that output. So in this case, as you can see, there are 000 mentioned over here. So what to do in those cases? There is no other option for you to do anything. You only need to do it manually. So you can go to the company's LinkedIn profile. There is a map section where you can see how many locations are they present in, or you can search on Google on your own to populate that data. But it is mandatory that whenever you are creating additional data fields or you're creating that entire sample data or sequence to then scale to other data sets over here, then you need to ensure that you are adding complete detail even if the AI is not able to find it. So I found it manually and I've added the number of locations these companies where 0 is mentioned have. So this was about first hand analyzing the company data points that we needed. Moreover, if you see, we have a total list of 300 plus meetings that are done over here, and we have a variety of designations. We do know that in terms of departments, say the admin, facilities, or procurement department will be the right to approach. But what about the seniority? So that's the next data point that we have taken, is to understand what is the seniority with which meetings are happening. Are they heads, VPs, directors, managers? Who are they? So hence we use one more AI agent to figure out that seniority level based on the designation. And finally, what we have done is we have those exact additional data points in place that we might require. We created an ICP fit score to understand whether the reach out or the meetings that have happened are as per the ICP or not. So we use the AI agent wherein we gave it inputs to analyze all the data points that are there. So we told it that, okay, analyze the location, industry, the headcount growth, the hiring velocity, the locations and the seniority to create a score. And over here we have our score as per the input parameters that we created in the numerical format, wherein it's scored between 1 to 100. Now the question over here is that just adding this, the ICP fit score, does that mean that, okay, if it is above say 80%, then whatever amount of meetings are there indicate success for that particular GTM machine? The answer is yes, but we still need to dive deeper into analyzing this. But if you see the sort of format that Clay works on, that's a table format, you might not be able to visually, or you might not be able to draw that inferences unless and until you are checking those entries manually. So what Clay has done is it has given us an option to chat with one of their agents called as Sculptor, wherein we can ask questions that can analyze this particular data set and give us the output. So say for example, I want a breakdown of the status and the meeting types to understand that through what mode am I getting more meetings? Is it in-person meetings? Is it virtual meetings? So if you see, I just entered that prompt and I have the output over here. And it even shares insights that virtual meetings are say significantly outnumbered by in-person meetings. And we can then deep dive into understanding what are the reasons for it. What we can additionally check is, say we have the names of our SDRs who took those meetings. We can analyze that for which SDR is which industry working. So that gives us a complete overview here that who the top performers are and what sort of industries are they targeting at their level. Are they sticking to the ICP or are they expanding to it? And what industry specialty do they have is what we can analyze over here by putting in that particular prompt. So as you can see, I just put that prompt and I have that complete performance analysis for all the SDRs in place, along with which industries are they most suited in. I can even use this to then give me an understanding that, okay, based on this ICP fit score and the other parameters, do you think that we are going as per the ICP or do you think the ICP can be revised? So this comes back to our initial question. That's the objective of this entire analysis, to figure out whether our ICP or whether our targeting is good or it is on point or not. And in case if it is not, then do we need to change? So as you can see over here, I gave that prompt and we saw that we have good amount of prospects that are above 75. So this means that there are good chances that our ICP is in the right direction or framed in the right direction and we are getting more outcomes from it. What you can also do over here is, if you are getting the data scraped from, or rather the data exported from a CRM, like we did from Zoho CRM, you can even have additional input fields in the CRM, like comments or the post meeting outcomes, or post meeting how many follow-ups are done, to derive more and more inferences on your outreach. So this is about how you can use Clay for defining additional data points to analyze, and finally conclude on an analysis and use the chart sculptor to get exact answers to the analysis, or rather the questions that you have. So this was about it. And if you found this useful, please do try it out, and do like and subscribe to our channel for more such content. And thank you so much for watching this one.